come and chat, come and say hi, and that's
Yeah, welcome. Thank you so much, all of you, for coming. There's a few groups of people here. There's a whole group from YWAM, which is where we're applause right now. There's the experiment that meets here on Wednesday night, as Jack said. There's a couple from 24/7 prayer. There's people from the railway station where I used to live. And then there's a whole load of random people from... There's Sarah from South London. And Martin, who I bought ice cream from him pretty much every day for like 3 months. I shouldn't say how much ice cream I ate actually, but and he would ask me about my book, so he's here.
welcome.
Yes.
Thank you. I'm a bit shy, so don't.
Can you sell ice cream?
Yeah.
Where?
Elliot Street? Where is Elliot Street?
Oh, Elliot.
The company's
But I don't work there anymore, so it's not
It's just about the best ice cream.
You will
ice cream's average.
you will taste like water.
Yeah, so yeah, I just want to say thank you so much for coming. It's quite humbling to see you all here. I just want to share for like 20 minutes, not so long, and then we can just have drinks and eat, so that's a good deal for you guys, I reckon. I just want to share a little bit about the book, how it came to be, and some of the main ideas, and maybe a quick overview, but I don't want to spoil it for you, so I'll save the best bits for reading. Yeah. It took about 18 months to write. I never thought I would write a book. I'm still quite not sure how it's happened. I was talking to the printer today when I went to collect. Well, actually today I got a phone call at 1 o'clock from the printer saying the machine's broken down. We don't have the books. I was like, oh, you've got to be kidding me. Somehow they managed to get it fixed and all done in time. But it was funny, we were talking and he was saying he put a book together for his daughter for her school, a Capri book, to try and raise funds. And after he'd done that, he was like, never again. I realised how much work it is. And yeah, I can totally empathise with him. I'm definitely not doing another one soon. Yeah, so it took about 18 months to write. Mostly between kind of 10 at night and the early hours of the morning. It's my heart in putting it together. Like I said, I never thought I was going to do a book. It was just something that was on my heart to write. And as I wrote and started to share with people, people seemed to connect with it, so it's carried on and it turned into a book. Yeah, I'm going to be selling copies tonight. There's 2 different types. This one is very nice, laminated cover, which is $30, and then this one is $26, but it's not so laminated. And the difference in price is just the $4 difference it costs to make. So yeah, please buy copies.
Will you be around to sign?
I will be around to sign. I can even write personal messages. Anything that will make you buy a copy, really. Yeah, it's quite interesting. This book, not a single word of it has been written at home for me. The whole book's been written on the road since I left home 18 months ago. Yeah, I'm just going to talk a little bit about some of the main ideas and then give you a snapshot of the book. The book starts off talking about longings. Apologies to the DTS crew because we had a speaker yesterday and he pretty much talked about the first 8 chapters of the book. God, what am I going to say on Wednesday night?
He stole your message.
Yeah, he did, but that's okay, he had a pretty good message. Yeah, so the first part of the book's about longing, so we all share, you know, whatever background, whatever race, whatever religion we come from, we all share longings for things like love, for hope, for joy, for home. And the first part of the book's about that, and then I go on to tell stories of what those things might look like if we could find the fullness of those things. What might true love look like? What might real and lasting joy look like? What might intimacy look like? And the title of the book is The Coming Dawn, and that second part of the book's all about painting a picture of what those things might look like. What might that fullness look like? And I use the idea of the dawn to talk about that. And the idea is also that the dawn, that fullness is coming towards us. And there's a whole chapter which is called Grace in the middle of the book, which explains why I think that dawn is coming towards us. And I don't want to say too much about that because it would spoil the whole flow of the book to tell you, so you have to read that. And another kind of component of the book and how it came to be is, in my own life, I'm quite motivated to make a difference in the world. And I've been quite motivated by the brokenness that I've seen, and just the hard things that there are and wanting to make a difference to people. But as I thought about that, I realised that wouldn't itself be sustaining long term, and that if you look at the darkness and the brokenness long enough, then you begin to become like it, and I didn't want to do that. So part of my motivation was to look for a vision and a light that was strong enough to maintain and sustain me in wanting to make a difference. And quite interesting actually, as I put this together and worked on it and edited with a close friend of mine, she pointed out how I was talking very nicely about these ideas, but in my own life there were certain areas that were still very broken, and actually I started to realise that this light that I was looking for, I actually needed that personally to come and transform me. And so this book's been a real journey for me, kind of out of my own brokenness and pains and questions, and into wholeness. And my real hope is that it would do something of that for you guys too, that it might open up some questions and some longings, and really connect you with a path out of that too. And then lastly, the last part of it is, if we see this beautiful vision of the dawn, can we live in it now? If those things are true, and I believe they are, then also believe that the challenge is to live them fully now. So that's some of the components of the book, and I'm just going to touch on a couple of them really quickly, and then I'll be quiet. So going back to longing at the start of the book. I don't know about you, but do you ever think that ever wonder, is this all there is to life? Is this it? Is this my lot? I've certainly wondered that at times. I remember when I came to New Zealand, I was living in South Auckland for about 6 months. And for those of you who just arrived on DTS, South Auckland's not famous for being the nicest part of New Zealand. Famous for crime and social problems and gangs and stuff like that. And when I was there, I left behind my home, my family, my friends, everything that I loved and held dear. And I kind of wondered, what have I done? Was I right to make this decision to come all this way? And it was quite a hard time for me the first sort of year of being here. And actually, in that place, those questions that I think we all have really came to the surface in a way that they'd never done before. And I started to feel them in a more profound way. And it was actually really healthy. I think it really purified those desires and made me really look for what they might be pointing towards. Which reminds me of, there's a story of a man who had 2 plants, and he kept one in his house and one outside. And the one that he had in his house, he watered every day, he put fertilizer on it, he made sure it was never in the sun too long, never had too much wind or anything. And then the one that was outside, he just left alone, and made sure it just had just about enough water. That was about all the attention he paid to it. And then there came a day when he had to take them both and replant them so they could grow fully. And when he did that, it wasn't the one that had been in the house that looked so pristine, that looked so good, and had all the care and attention that grew. But it was the one that had been outside, the one that had struggled, the one that looked like it was just about to die, it was that one that had the roots deep enough to find the nutrients when the storms of life came, you know, when the rains would come day after day after day, or when they wouldn't come day after day after day. And the one that had been treated so kind of carefully just couldn't cope with life like that. And I think that's kind of a parable for us and suffering. You know, sometimes, like, naturally we run away from suffering, at least I do. But as I look back on that period, it was like that suffering, in a sense, had purified those longings, and had made my roots go deeper into where I can find the answer to that.